Well, welcome to the White House, everyone. It's December, so it's holiday time around here, and we thought it was a good occasion to have one more party. And this is a celebration worth having. I want to, first of all, thank Joe Biden and Jill Biden and their entire family, who have been such extraordinary friends to us, and what a fitting way for us to be able to signify our partnership as our time comes to an end together. It makes me feel very good. I want to thank David and Kate Grubb for sharing their family's story. As David said, we have a lot in common, nothing more than the love of our children, our daughters. You know, when I first met them in Charleston, their story was unfortunately more common than we would have liked. And I indicated a number of the people on this stage are people who have gone through tough times or have seen their loved ones suffer, either because of opioid addiction or because of cancer. Who had bravely shared their story and channeled their passion into increasing the urgency all of us feel around this issue. And so, more than anything, this is a testimony to them and an extraordinary commemoration of those that they've loved. So we're very grateful to them. Please give them a big round of applause. We're joined by a whole bunch of members of Congress here today, and it is wonderful to see how well Democrats and Republicans in the closing days of this Congress came together around a common cause. And I think it indicates the power of this issue. And how deeply it touches every family across America. You know, over the last 8 years, one of my highest priorities as president has been to unleash the full force of American innovation to some of the biggest challenges that we face. That meant restoring science to its rightful place. It meant funding the research and development that's always kept America on the cutting edge. It's meant investing in clean energy that's created a steady stream of good jobs and helped America become the world's leader in combating climate change. It meant investing in the medical breakthroughs that have the power to cure disease and help all of us live healthier, longer lives. So I started the 2016 State of the Union address by saying we might be able to surprise some cynics and deliver bipartisan action on the opioid epidemic. And in that same speech, I put Joe in charge of mission control on a new cancer moonshot. And today, with the 21st Century Cures Act, we are making good on both of those efforts. We are bringing to reality the possibility of new breakthroughs to some of the greatest health challenges of our time. Joe's already indicated some of the scope of the bill, but let me repeat it because it's worth repeating. First, this legislation is going to combat the heroin and prescription opioid epidemic that is ravaging too many families across the country. This is an epidemic that can touch anybody, blue collar, white collar, college students, retirees, kids, moms, dads. I've had the chance to meet people from every stage of recovery who are working hard to sustain the progress that they're making. And I've met parents like the Grubbs who work tirelessly to help a child struggling with addiction. It could not be clearer that those of us called upon to lead this country have a duty on their behalf, that we have to stand by them, that all too often they feel as if they're fighting this fight alone instead of having the community gather around them and give them the resources and the access and the support that they need. So today, I could not be prouder that this legislation takes up the charge I laid down in my budget to provide $1 billion in funding so that Americans who want treatment can get started on the path to recovery and don't have to drive 6 hours to do it. It is the right thing to do, and families are ready for the support. Second, the Cures Act provides a decade's worth of support for two innovative initiatives from my administration. The first is the BRAIN Initiative, which we believe will revolutionize our understanding of the human mind. And when I sign this bill into law, we'll give researchers new resources to help identify ways to treat, cure, and potentially prevent brain disorders like Alzheimer's and epilepsy, traumatic brain injury, and more. And we're also going to support what we've called our Precision Medicine Initiative, an effort we started to use data to help modernize research and accelerate discoveries so that treatment and healthcare can be tailored specifically to individual patients. This spring, with the help of this legislation, the National Institutes of Health plans to launch a groundbreaking research cohort, inviting Americans from across the country to participate to support the scientific breakthroughs of tomorrow. Number three, the Cures Act improves mental health care. It includes bipartisan reforms to address serious mental illness. It takes steps to make sure that mental health and substance use disorders are treated fairly by insurance companies, building on the work of my presidential task force, and it reauthorizes meaningfully suicide prevention programs. Many of these reforms align with my administration's work to improve our criminal justice system, helping us enhance data collection and take steps so that we're not unnecessarily incarcerating folks who actually need mental health assistance. Fourth, we're building on the FDA's work to modernize clinical trial design so that we're updating necessary rules and regulations to protect consumers so that they're taking into account this genetic biotech age. And we're making sure that patients' voices are incorporated into the drug development process. And finally, the Cures Act invests in a breakthrough effort that we've been calling the Vice President's Cancer Moonshot. And I think the Senate came up with a better name when they named it after Beau Biden. Joe said, Beau loved me, I loved him back. And like many of you, I believe that the United States of America should be the country that ends cancer once and for all. We're already closer than a lot of folks think, and this bill will bring us even closer, investing in promising new therapies, developing vaccines, and improving cancer detection and prevention. Ultimately, it will help us reach our goal of getting a decade's worth of research in half the time. And as Joe said, that time counts. In this effort, Joe Biden has rallied not just Congress, but he has rallied a tremendous collection of researchers and doctors, philanthropists, patients. He's showing us that with the right investment and the ingenuity of the American people, to quote him, there isn't anything we can't do. So I'd like everybody to just please join me in thanking what I consider to be the finest vice president in history, Joe Biden. Go ahead and embarrass Joe. Go ahead. Hey! So we're tackling cancer, brain disease, substance use disorders, and more. And none of this work would have been possible without bipartisan cooperation in both houses of Congress. A lot of people were involved, but there are some folks who deserve a special shout out. That includes Senators Alexander and Senators Murphy. Representatives Upton, Pallone, and DeGette. And Green. And of course, we couldn't have gotten across the finish line without the leadership of Nancy Pelosi and Steny Hoyer, who are here. As well as leaders from both houses, Speaker Ryan, leaders McConnell and Reid, and Senator Patty Murray. Not to mention all the members of Congress who are sitting here that I can't name, otherwise I'm going to be here too long and I will never sign the bill. But you know who you are. I want to thank all of you on behalf of the American people for this outstanding work. These efforts build on the work that we've done to strengthen our healthcare system over the last 8 years, covering pre-existing conditions, expanding coverage for mental health and substance use disorders, helping more than 20 million Americans know the security of health insurance. Thanks to the Affordable Care Act, it means they have access to some of the services that are needed. I'm hopeful that in the years ahead, Congress keeps working together in a bipartisan fashion to move us forward rather than backward in support of the health of our people, because these are gains that have made a real difference for millions of Americans. So this is a good day. It's a bittersweet day. I think it's important to acknowledge that it's not easy for the Grubbs to come up here and talk about Jesse. It's not easy for Joe and Jill, I know, to talk about Bo. Joe mentioned my mother, who died of cancer. She was 2.5 years younger than I am today when she passed away. And so it's not always easy to remember, but being able to honor those we've lost in this way and to know that we may be able to prevent other families from feeling that same loss, that makes it a good day. And I'm confident that it will lead to better years and better lives for millions of Americans, the work that you've done. That's what we got sent here for. And it's not always what we do. It's a good day to see us doing our jobs. So with that, I think it's time for me to sign this bill into law. Get close. All right. Those of you who have not attended this before, I have to use all these pens. They were talking about the cloth. But it works for us, right? I don't care what other people say. There we go.
All right.